Oh, Friday night, it is Barber's Arms. Here we go, episode 48, 2nd of April 2021. It's lockdown 3 in association with the British Barbers Association and Wahl. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about everything that's been happening in these last 7 days since last time we spoke to you last Friday. The weeks are flying by now. The light is at the end of the tunnel. The big 12th of April is beckoning on everybody. And Scotland, you're back on the 5th of April. So it's exciting tonight in the first week for me and Gaz's catch-ups. 8:10, the new feature here on Barber's Arms is the BarberEVO Global News Desk. We'll be handing over to our BarberEVO News Desk, David Foster and Andrew Brewster. That's around about 10 past 8. Our first guest this evening is Nergish Wadia-Austin, the business coach, and from the fantastic PHAB Standard Award. Nergish is going to be joining us in the arms about 8:15. 8:50 sees Gaz's 48th cocktail, and it's a real Easter treat with it being Easter weekend, this one. And I'm not going to make you do it in one because it's a real heavy one. Around about 9 o'clock, we've got our second guests on. We're really excited to get them in the Barber's Arms, which is the two guys that started and the mastermind behind Love to Create 88 down in Rayleigh in Essex. That's Joe Sloan and Joey Power joining us on Barber's Arms, all in conjunction with the BBA and Wahl UK. Please welcome our co-host here on Barber's Arms, Mr. Machin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Simon Shaw. As he said, lockdown 3, day 95, week 14 of the third lockdown. Can you believe it? It's Easter weekend, Good Friday. We'd be working usually today. It'd be a really busy day. And we're sitting here and drinking in the arms as usual, bringing the show to you. How was your week then, mate? Have you had a good week?
Busy week, yep. Got some productive stuff done. Finished off with our team talks, incentives. There's still a few, maybe 1 or 2 places left from Tuesday up to Friday next week. But yeah, we've been able to reach out to nearly 200 barbers in the UK. We finished off with one of my friends, Joth at Savills on Thursday, which were nice to see Joth and his team. And then today's been a little bit more relaxing. I started to do a little bit of work this morning and then switched off a little bit this afternoon and ready for Barber's Arms. We weren't going to do Easter Good Friday, were we? But I think the lockdown shows us that we're not going out anywhere. We're doing the right thing. We're at home. So why not join all our friends on Barber's Arms?
Well, that's it's usually family time, isn't it, Easter? It's the first time that people start to go away. They start a bit of coming out of the darkness. Clocks went back last week, didn't they? So, forward. So it's lighter at nights now. So we've got a bit of something to look forward to. Talking about your team talks, we were lucky enough to have you on at our team talk as well on Monday, wasn't it? I think it was. We had 20 odd of the guys, I think out of 34 or something like that. So we had a good turnout. We had a bit of a giggle. It was nice to see you as well in your professional capacity. The lads loved it. So anybody out there who wants to get involved, I don't know if there's any spaces left, but it's well worth it. Just get your guys G'd up just before we go back on the 12th. I mean, with a bit of luck, on Monday we're going to have the all clear to go back. It's D-Day for us, isn't it? The 5th. If we are going back on time, this is the time they'll tell us if we're not. So Scotland are going back. Fantastic. Good luck to Ross and everybody in Scotland who's going back. They're going to have the stampede just before us, so they'll let us know how they've gone on. So looking forward to getting back. We're on.
Nice to find out as well if anybody's watching, Gaz. Any Scottish? We know we have lots of Scottish people that watch the show, but get messaging in tonight and let's have a discussion about your final preparations. Obviously, it's Bank Holiday Monday, so you're back in on Tuesday. I think, is it Tuesday? They'll be back in? Yeah, it's Easter Monday. Let us know what your final preparations are for all the guys in the UK as well. So any last minute arrangements that you're making or you're getting excited about or things that you'd forgot but might be helpful to other people that's going to be opening up, last minute things that you're doing. I'm sure you'll all be busy this weekend in and out of your shops, getting everything prepared, and a real nice, exciting time that's ahead of everybody, Gary, really getting back in it.
Yeah, I mean, I messaged all our team today just before, they get paid this weekend. So, just said make the last of your last weekend's freedom now for a while, hopefully. I mean, it's just unheard of, any Fridays and Saturdays off, especially Easter weekend. Good grief. It's a massive weekend within the trade. People are going away, kids are off. You know, it's just a massive time of year. It's a big earner for us, for the industry, and you know we've missed it again. So, and once them haircuts are gone, they're gone, aren't they? So, but we're going to have that 2 massive or 3 massive weeks as we get back, and we'll smash it that way. But you know, I think the weather's just made me feel better this week. We've had some great.
The lighter nights have helped, haven't we, everybody? But also as well, I think, you know, one of the things I've said on the team talks, just one of my tips for this next 10 days, guys. Scotland, obviously, a bit different now. You're really in that descendancy now. You get back next week, but maybe try it this weekend. But for the UK guys, especially the younger guys out there, it's time to get to bed a bit earlier. It's time to stop, like, you haven't got up to get up for. You've had, like, how many days? 93 days, 94 days, wherever you've been off. Little tip from my point of view, I did it all last week. My alarm was set for 6 a.m. every week. And I'm not a big, heavy sleeper, so I do wake up naturally early anyway. But there's always been that tendency, you know, I don't know what to get up for. My first meeting's not till 8:30, so been strolling out of bed at 7:15, getting a shower and going sitting at my computer and doing my first meeting at 8:30. But I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I had a meeting with India because of the time differences. It was on at 7:30 and I was up at like 6:15, and I've kept my alarm at that point. I've got up, I've got showered, I've got ready, I've been super organised the night before. That's what I would do normally. And I tell you, it's really helped me be super focused. I've looked around at 11:30, 12 and think, I am well in front today. And then I've repeated. So the night before I go to bed, I'm looking at all my meetings that I have, I'm getting my notes ready, my systems are ready, everything's charged up, I'm going to bed early. And I'm setting my alarm clock for 6 a.m. and I'm out. And as I say, I'm probably ready too early, but it feels like a bit of normality.
Well, you know, that's exactly what we've been telling our guys as well. I mean, young people generally, you know, students, when they come out to 16, 17, 18, they're bloody practically nocturnal, aren't they? You know, they're up all night and sleep all day. Well, that's not good when you've got your first client in at, you know, 5 to 9 in the morning or whatever. So we've said exactly the same. Try and get into a bit of a routine now, getting into bed proper times. You know, it's a school night. You know, we've got to start getting back and into that flow of being professional again and getting to work a bit earlier on time as well. You know, not running through the door 10 to 9.
It's not a Dracula film, is it? You keep freezing a little bit, guys. We want to go back to normal. What are you drinking tonight? Before we hand over to the news desk, what are you drinking? I'm on a little bit of a new drink tonight. I'm on these Peroni Reservas. Now, the first time I had this drink, I was in Sorrento and down in Naples, and they had so many different types of Peronis. We have the Nastro Azzurro Peroni here that you get in Italian restaurants, and I think most people like a Peroni. I've got some Peronis in. But then there were like these Peronis, the Rosa, then there were the Grand Reserva, then there were like loads of different ones. And I'm on this, the Rossa Grand Peroni tonight, which is a bit more of a red lagery beer type drink. And it's 6.9. Now, if any of you have had a really bad session and you've gone to the toilet day after and you're a bit dehydrated, you'll get that kind of colour when you go for a pee. So, good luck with everybody. I love my glasses, the Weebles, Wombles, but they don't fall down. And cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
You're nearly there, Scotland. Guys, I think we're at that point where this is a new part of the show. I'm really, really looking forward to this. And it's something that, you know, from a magazine point of view and a journalistic point of view, I think it's really perfect timing for Barber's that we're going to now hand over to a new feature of the show. I hope you all enjoy it. If you're watching tonight live, I know there's about 89, nearly 100 people waiting to watch tonight. Just some stats there as well. Every Friday night, I look at the live views, but also look at the views that watched in the night. And it's always about 500-600 people watching the night. And then obviously, I think last week we're nearly up to 70,000 views again. So thank you to everybody who watches. But if you're going to enjoy this now, this is our new feature to the show, and we're going to hand over to the Barber's news desk, to the BarberEVO news desk, Mr. David Foster. and Andrew Brewster.
Okay, I think that's us, huh?
Hello.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Hello and welcome to what is the very first visit to the Evo Tavern news desk. It's quite fancy, this, isn't it?
It's not bad.
I'm Andrew Brewster, co-owner of BarberEVO and Salon Evo magazines. I'm joined tonight by fellow co-founder and co-anchor, anchor that was for the evening, David Foster.
Thanks, Andrew. Been called a lot worse. I'm sure you have as well.
I think we both have, yeah. So all well. We usually tied at the hip. Both been working remote today, so it's nice to actually see you. Missed you.
Missed you too, pal. Missed you too.
What are you drinking tonight? What's your tipple?
Good question. I'm on the Bud Lights, and if that runs out, I'm on the 70% alcohol K-Rex. So I'm jamming here, mate. How about yourself?
Nice. I'm actually on the Moretti's, pulled from my new beer sub, which is probably the closest we're going to get to an actual pint for a while. But
Cheers.
cheers. Tastes quite nice, yeah. So it's been a busy old week. Why don't you hit us with the news?
Will do. Good stuff. So yeah, well, obviously the big news, really special news, very exciting news is that on this Monday, the 5th of April, barbershops in Scotland at long last can open up again. And of course, that means one big thing, Andrew, which is you can finally get shot of that hat that you've been wearing for about God knows how long.
Well, mate, my bonnet is wild, although it's covering my where I'm receding at the front. But yeah, I'm booked in for 9 a.m. on Monday with my boy Reese Dunn at Maintain Barbershop. I'll be waiting there from 8 o'clock just to make sure he turns up. It's been a long 3 months, has it?
Yeah. It's what is it, about 100, 102, 103 days or something? Yeah.
2 days since Boxing Day, so can't wait for that. About yourself, Quiff Richard over there?
Brilliant. Yeah, booked in Monday morning. Eric Begg, Slick's Barbershop. Looking forward to it. I think he said he might need to hire someone else just to sort of assist with the old quiff here. So yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, just on that, obviously, sort of news focus there. That is a big bit of news. We mentioned about how long the barbershops in Scotland have been shut. What a lot of people don't realise, and we actually did a fantastic feature on it in the March edition of BarberEVO, was that it was mainland Scotland. So actually, if you stayed on any of the islands, or certainly some of them, such as Shetland, Tooth and Nail Barbershop, these guys have been open all this time. So if you're on the mainland, you've been doing it wrong. Should have got out to the islands. But
we were going to hire a dinghy and just get on over just to get the bonnet sorted, yeah?
It's like that Irish guy that went to see his, or the Scottish guy that went to see his girlfriend in Ireland, whatever.
Jet ski, yeah?
Yeah, the jet ski guy, fair play to him. But no, that's obviously a big bit of news. Good luck to all the barbershops in Scotland, and obviously everybody in England, Wales. Well, Wales have been back, but England, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, can't wait to get you guys back as well. Some other bits of news, actually a really interesting bit controversial, Andrew. In Ohio, in the States, there's lawmakers that are actually trying to reduce the statutory amount of training hours that are required before you can become a licensed barber. Huge can of worms, obviously. In the UK, it's not necessary at the moment, but they're talking about cutting it from 1,800 hours of training that you have to put in down to 1,000. Quite an interesting one. What do you think the response would be over here, Andrew, if you had to do 1,000 hours of training?
Do you know what? There's a lot of people campaigning in the UK to reverse what that guy's trying to do, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to get it so that you have to have so many hours before you qualify. Because, as you know, me and you could open a barbershop on Monday and start cutting people's hair.
It's not advised. It would be terrible. But
we've watched enough haircuts now to probably get away with it, you know. But yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, definitely is. Just looking over, obviously, for all your news, up-to-date barber news from all over the world, get on barberevo.com. Final little bit of news before I swing it back to Andrew. Barbers in New York State have actually raised a really important question. They've actually questioned whether or not they should be eligible for vaccinations earlier, because of course the amount of people that they see day in, day out. Andrew, why don't we leave that one for Gaz and Simon to discuss? I think that's maybe out with our pay grade on this show. What do you think?
I don't think they're paying us enough for that one.
Exactly. So Andrew, we're going to do this every week, of course. We're going to give some quick fire news from around the barbering globe. You've got a bit of a giveaway you want to just sort of finish off with?
Yeah, so every week we are going to be working with our partners at BarberEVO. They're all going to be sending us all sorts of bundles of products and whatnot to give away. So we're going to start off with 5 subscriptions to BarberEVO. And we are going to, next week, we're going to be changing it up a little, but for this week, we are going to reward 5 of the top fans from guys that have been watching week in, week out, watching Gary and Simon. So we were given a huge list of top fans and we randomly picked 5. So the 5 names are, starting with Ross Carter, who actually messaged me during the week, and unfortunately, Ross, it's not a Rangers jersey, it's a BarberEVO subscription, which is probably the next best thing. So Ross Carter. Then we've got Alison Russo Brown, we've got Sherelle McCann, we've got Mark Walters. I don't think it's the Mark Walters that used to play for Rangers, but great.
Yeah.
And Rick Roberts. So guys, you 5, if you could DM myself or David with your addresses, we'll get you all signed up. We'll get the current edition with our good friend Killian on the front. We'll get this out to you, and we'll also sign you up for the next 4 editions.
Absolutely brilliant. Can't say fairer than that. I guess there we go. Take 1, Andrew? Not too bad.
I think we've done all right. It's quite a nice setup. It's a bit Soccer Saturday, isn't it?
It was a great idea I had, wasn't it?
Jeff Stellan and Chris Kamara. Yeah, you can be Kamara or Paul Merson.
Paul Merson, no bother. Well, listen,
he likes a beer.
He does indeed. Great, brilliant. Thanks for having us, guys. Catch you next week.
That's a wrap. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. A new feature here on Barber's. We have the BarberEVO news desk coming every week. Guys, they're going to give you the addresses, and you can also email the guys at BarberEVO for any news that you have that you want to share for the show each week. But also as well, you can always email us at Barber'S as well, and we can pass that on to them, which is Barber'S@thebritishbarber.com. That's our email address. Our website is thebarbersarms.co.uk to watch all our past 47 episodes and for your podcast downloads. Instagram account, Simon Shaw Wahl. Gaz is the British Barber, and Barbers_arms. Them's our Instagram accounts. And throughout the next couple of weeks as well, we'll give you more information on our expo show that's going to be in June 2021. Really excited. Some real top brands already associated now with the Barber'S Expo. Gaz?
Yeah,
I'm going to look at that, each week when the guys come on. I really enjoyed that, but I know they'll get into the stride a little bit, and they must get into the new studio and the Sky Sports backing with them. But it might be a timely break for me and you as well. I think we might need to move. What I'm going to speak to the producers and say, we could move that later in the show so I can watch your cocktails and I can have a longer pee break.
Well, I thought, do you know what? I've never had that in all the shows we've ever done. And I thought, I'm so organised. I didn't even have to leave my seat anyway. But, if there is something you got to do and you got something on you, I suppose you could use that time wisely. But great, guys. We love the magazine, and they're our new media partners. I'm sure it'll get better and better and throughout the weeks. It's funny having somebody else on the show and you're blocked up. By the way, I think Trevor didn't let me straight back in. I don't know if he's trying to make me, sweat a little bit then, but I was pressing my button. He says, host won't let you back in. I think he's trying to get rid of me.
Gaz,
but anyway,
just before we move on to to our next guest, and I know it's been a tough one these last few weeks. We seem to be every week we're on Defson. And this week, again, just somebody who I knew, you know, not very close, but somebody I knew who used to go for a beer with, and you know, a young lad in Barnes, not young, but in just early 40s, Richard Mills, took his own life last night. And I've heard a footballer at Yeovil, you know, 32, took his life early in the week as well. Guys, you know, at Barber's Arms here, we've always put out, you know, the outlines to get to. Please pick phone up. You know, even if you don't know me personally or Gaz personally, I'm not saying I'm qualified to help, but if somebody reached out to me and said, I need to speak to somebody, I will take your call. I will make sure I phone you back. Just talk to people. It's getting to a point where every week this is really getting a lot now. We've got to stay together. We've got to be positive, but there's always somebody to talk to. And all I can say from mine and Gaz's point of view, and you know, we spoke about this yesterday, me and Gaz, and today, you know, DM us, email us, whatever, and we'll try to reach out to you as soon as we could. And I just wanted to mention that tonight because you know, we all go up and down, don't we, sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, we've said that in the past, you know, just give somebody a call, check how they are, you know. Anyway, I think we've got our first guests on, haven't we? They're knocking at the door. So we got Mr. Joe Sloan and Joey Powett down south there. So I think they're about to come on.
Next ones, no, they're next.
They are.
First guest, Nergish Wadia-Austin. I've known Nergish for years in this industry as a business coach, and Nergish was the inspiration and the setup behind the PHAB Standard Award. It's great to have her on Barber's Arms tonight. For everybody who's watching tonight and the thousands that watch throughout the week, we're really excited to have Nergish on. She's going to tell us all about the PHAB Standard. Ladies and gents, please welcome on Barber's Arms for the first time, Nergish Wadia-Austin.
Thank you. And happy Easter to everyone who celebrates.
Happy Easter, Nerg.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Nergish, and great to have you on the show. I've heard a lot about you. I haven't met you personally, but Simon's been singing your praises all the way through our production meetings, and we're really, really excited and glad to have you on because you're another great brand. Just before we start, for all the people out there, you know, we have, as Simon said, we're averaging about 100,000 every week. You know, we're over 6 million views now. So for the people who are in our community, our viewers, if you could, all around the world, by the way, if you could give us a quick 2-minute bio on who you are, what you are, background, and what you're actually doing at the moment, what you do.
Okay, hello and lovely to meet you too, Gary. Thank you very much. I guess my name is Nergish. I started out in the industry as a hairdresser at Vidal Sassoons. I'm a qualified colorist with them. And my early career meant that, and because I'm of Asian descent, I have very pushy Asian parents that made sure that I'd also qualified in beauty services. So I'm pretty much that odd person that's qualified in both hair and beauty. And of course, ages ago, I moved to the UK, where my very first job, and it was literally a baptism of fire when I was hit with my first barbershop. So I was managing at the age of 24, the very largest salon in the world at Harrods. And of course, it was on 5 levels. So we had the large day spa, but at the very basement, we had possibly the most progressive barbershop ever, because it was doing beauty services over 30 odd years ago. And so it was amazing. And I was, my very first, I guess, entry into barbering officially was to take all the old barbers at Harrods and get them off union contracts and turn them into employees. So that was the very first thing I had to do when it came to barbering. And of course, since then, I've run large barbershops like the Selfridges, Barbers, and, you know, it was a very successful business. And people like Chris Foster and Shen at the refinery, these are all people that have come from that background, basically. So I've been involved in barbering from a very young age, but managing the business of barbering. And so, and of course, I've run the largest salons in the world, really. So I've had that advantage of being exposed to the business of hair and beauty and barbering. And so I came across this opportunity, and I've worked in Asia and North America. And so because I've moved a lot with my parents and my husband, I was able to see different cultures and the way they approach hair and beauty. And so that's been quite unique in my life, that I've had to actually work in different countries. So when I got to sort of the age of around 40, I was training for a company called L'Oreal. I was their business consultant. I was traveling around the world to train their best customers in how to run their businesses. And it occurred to me that there wasn't one place where individuals that went above and beyond their job description, you know, the barber that gives the best possible service to his customers, 6 weeks in advance, he's booked up waiting for people to come in. I mean, people are waiting absolutely months to get an appointment with him. He goes the extra mile. He basically makes sure does the services that make him different and or her different. And it's those people that never got the accolades. All the people that entered competitions, all the people that went into session hairdressing got the glory. And it occurred to me that the people that work the hardest, that in fact actually impact our businesses the most, sometimes got ignored. And so that's when the FAB standard was born. I wrote an algorithm for barbers to highlight the best performers in our industry. And of course, sadly, I lost my husband to cancer very shortly thereafter. So I had to leave the industry for about 6 years to stabilize the home and the kids. And of course, as the kids went back and I returned to the industry in 2018, I was approached by some Silicon Valley investors that had noticed that I'd written this algorithm that assessed people's performance and their service standards. And they really loved it, and they asked what I'd done with it. And so I relaunched it in lockdown as the FAB Service Stars. And so under one roof, I want people, consumers in the UK and Ireland, to be able to find the very best barbers, the very best hairdressers, the very best colorists, beauty therapists, and nail technicians. I want that to be a one-stop shop that says, these people are not just good. I'm not just telling you this. We've checked it and they've proven it with their records, their customer testimonials, and we do all our checks. So we're extremely thorough. And I would pretty much bet my right arm if someone gets a FAB Service Star, they're going to be blindingly excellent at their job.
That's fantastic. I mean, obviously, Nergish, I was very honoured in 2010 to get the first FAB, one of the first FAB standards in
Correct.
London at the Dorchester. I think it was myself, Errol Douglas, Chris Foster, I forget who else, but that FAB Standard Award, it still takes pride in place in our boardroom at Wahl, along with, you know, many other awards that the company have got, but it was really good. I mean, look, Nergish, we lots of people are messaging in now and speaking to us about it, but we've got some questions. You've seen the format of Barber's, so we're going to ask some questions about the business, you, and then we'll go on to some quick fire questions. But of course, we've got an idea there about the FAB standard, and I kind of love the concept of it and the star awards that you're now talking about. But for you, what typifies it? So let's throw a name out there, because on the show we get people like, we had Stephen Mood in a few weeks who will say, you know, when he christened his kids, Sassoon was at his christening in California. His dad came over from Barnsley, took his shirt off while they're having a barbecue. So in your eye, who would typify a FAB standard in the industry now? Pick one name and why.
So a FAB Service Star, because they're no longer called the FAB Standard, the FAB Service Stars are given to people that go the extra mile. And what I mean by that is that you cannot get an appointment with these people for love nor money. And they could be anywhere, Simon. We're not elitist in any way. So it doesn't depend on how much you charge for your service. It is that people are lining up to come to you, and they're recommending their friends and colleagues and And so if you're asking me for a name of someone that goes the extra mile, let me take someone that is not known perhaps to anybody really outside of their remit. Someone that qualified in Ireland recently. They're in a little village of Clane in County Kildare. And she's a beauty therapist. I'm going to take it out of context because I want people to see what we're looking for. So she is basically not sitting in central London or in Dublin or in Edinburgh. She's in a little village. And the service she delivers is nothing short of outstanding. So every customer that sits in her chair gets asked the right questions. She listens to them about this and she solves their concerns before they leave. And not only that, she also provides them with the kit, the equipment they will require to do their treatments at home, the products that they require, and they can pick up the phone and tell her very easily, I don't like what you've done, and she'll welcome that back in and off they'll go. So there is the confidence that people provide. Now, Chris Foster is a perfect example. I can talk in terms of Barbers, because remember, Chris actually worked for me at Selfridges when he was a stylist. But the service the man delivered to people was just simply outstanding. There were people lining up to sit in the man's chair. The same can be said for thousands of barbers around the country right now. If you're asking me for a name of a champion or a hero, they're just too long. I'm a Sassoonite, so my hero has to be Vidal Sassoon because I worked for the man right from the start. And you know, we were taught, when I was cutting hair, my boss has been known to pull me aside at a Sassoon salon and say, there's weight on the right-hand side of the bob there, Nergish. You either stop that lady from going out or I'm going to refund her the money. I learned very quickly that no one is going out with the tiniest amount of weight at the side. Those are standards and they were adhered to. So when someone is going out from a barber's chair, all I want to know is, has that gentleman basically been spoken to, not just about what is the look that he wants and is it the same? I want him to have been asked, is his scalp okay? Does he have any concerns with his scalp? Does he have any concerns with keeping the front of his hair back? Is he bothered about the slight graying at the side of the temples? Does he require straightener because he hates the curl at the front of his hair? I want him to know whether he has the clippers at home to maintain his beard. I want him to know that the barber has listened to him thoroughly and has met the requirements and completed their service. That's the easiest way I can say it. The person that holds a PHAB service star completes their service.
Right, okay.
That's the only way I can describe it. And there's so many, I mean, you must know people like that don't leave a shop. There are hundreds of them out there. And I want them to be able to pick up the phone and say, tell people about me. So if you're sitting in Stirling in Scotland, I want to be able to tell people in and around Stirling that Joe in barbershop X is the person you want to go after. Because this guy is going to look after you start to finish. There's nothing going to be left unsaid or undone for you.
I think you could do some work up in Stirling as well, because I've been into a few shops in Stirling where there is a lot of weight left on one side and some of the haircuts that walk out of there don't look the best. So I'm sure we can do some work up in Stirling. What are you drinking tonight, Nergish? What's your drink?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to embarrass myself now. It's the most humiliating thing you've ever asked me. Right now it's cranberry and lime, but I am one of those odd people in life that's highly allergic to alcohol. Otherwise, I'd be a cheap drunk. I have to tell you that. But I learned on my 18th birthday at a bar in Hong Kong when I took my first drink that I was nearly hospitalized. I'm that sensitive to alcohol. So very boring. You don't want to hear from me that.
Me and Gaz were like that last night.
You'd be no good going out with Simon though, because he's got a bit of a problem there when it comes to drinking. He just doesn't know when to say no. Nergish, when you're talking about the PHAB stars, for our viewers out there, do they apply for themselves? Do they have to be put forward? How does this work? And do they get assessed in the salon, or what? How does the actual FAB system work?
It's an online system. You go in, press the apply now button, provide us with your numbers, and have the evidence ready when we ask for it. So at the first step, Gary, as soon as you apply for it, it takes you about 5 minutes to hand over the numbers that we're asking for. And as soon as you get to that point, it'll either reject your application or it'll let you pass forward. And if you're rejected, it will actually tell you why you're rejected and the areas that you have to improve on. And that's within 5 seconds. It's private, it's confidential. No one knows you've applied. No one knows that you've been turned down.
And do they have to be qualified as well? Is that
so? Absolutely, because that comes later. So their qualification basically is checked by us in conversations. We have a system whereby scanning works, whatever we need to ask for, because remember, we're talking to their customers, we're talking to their manager, we're doing so many checks behind them they can't just claim something and then think they're going to get through, because they'll get caught in the system. There is evidence-based. FAB service stars is evidence-based, and our verification is the second step. So the first step is apply and get turned down, or be told to proceed. And the second step is give us these bits of information. You know, we also have checked whether their practices of hygiene, what they are, their practices of their best eco practices, what they are, their sustainable practices. We are here for the long term. We are not here. We want to see, you know, people are going to be bogged down for the next 3 weeks. You know that depending on the size of their database, they're going to be busy for 1 week to up to 4 weeks. They're going to be slammed with customers when they go back after lockdown. But then what happens post-lockdown? What happens in standing out then in the, I guess, milieu of barbershops around? How do you stand out? The beauty of the FAB service star is that you get the star and your name is on the star. So people know that there is a FAB service star holder in this business, and he's called Gary Machin.
Okay, so Nergish, just for people who are watching now, and just joining as well, people are sending questions in. What does FAB, I know, but tell everybody, what does FAB stand for?
So it's Performance in Hair and Beauty, PHAB, Performance in Hair and Beauty. And we don't believe that without performance evidence, we find that it is almost unfair. It's an unfair business to be able to say someone's great or not unless they've got the evidence and have passed a verification check. And then once that's done, whether you charge £20 or whether you charge £100 for your service, that is irrelevant to us. If you're doing your job beautifully, you will get the FAB service star.
Okay, so guys, coming up on your screens as well, Nergish, social media choice as well, where she's more active, is a Twitter account, which is coming up on your screens now. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the FAB standard and the FAB Star Awards, Service Star Awards, then you can reach out to Nergish on her Twitter account. Nergish, we're going to move away from FAB Service Stars now. Let's talk a little bit about you. We like to build profiles on this show. We know what your business is about now, and people who can watch this next week can actually get in touch with you. I'm sure will increase people's standards and knowledge about what the service star means. And barbers, get in there. You want to get this service star. It's another thing that makes you different to everybody else out there. Nergish, moving forward, you know, you've got some great stories there about, you know, forget where you are now, but working in Harrods, Selfridges, Sassoons. That is a big, big CV.
Well,
what was your favorite? What was your favorite destination? Where was the favorite place to work?
You know, I'd have to say it. I'll answer it this way. There was one job that I've had in my life that I haven't enjoyed, and it was in that moment that I decided I was never going to work for anyone else. And my temperament was such that you find me as I speak, basically. And so my parting shot to my boss, And I'm not proud of this moment, but it was my defining moment in my career. That was the day that I stopped working for anybody else and I set up for myself. I had to resign because I said I was no longer prepared to work for a vegetable. And so in that moment, I had my resignation letter in my hand, and I couldn't control myself in that moment. And so it is probably my worst moment because it showed my character in a way that it should never have. But I think I had had it up to here. And so let me put it this way, my career went from sort of running a sassoon salon, and I say running because I was 19 when I was running that sassoon business for my two bosses from Vidal Sassoon in Hong Kong. And at a very young age, my management skills came into the fore quite naturally because my brother, my parents, all leaders in their organization. So I was surrounded and I grew up with great leadership skills. So I was very fortunate in that. And then I went on to work in North America, where I learned a lot about retail in hair and beauty. And that was, I don't know if you're familiar with it, I was married to a Canadian, so I was working in Canada at a group called Holt Renfrew, which is the Harrods of Canada. And so there I learned so much because I ran the cosmetics halls. And, you know, I was introduced to barbering at such a high level at Harrods that the products used were Alfred Dunhill. I literally was rocketed to the top end of barbering. I've never seen the middle pocket until I then ran 24 West End London businesses with a staffing level of 450 people. So my day job is not PHAB service stars. That's just one of the things that I do. I'm a business management trainer in the industry worldwide. And
that's what I've been saying to the production team as well. And you know, I think just getting you on's a massive, you know, a lot of barbers who are watching tonight, a lot of our hardcore people will be like, take a deep breath, let's take all this in. But I know with obviously working with you and what you're seeing off Nergish tonight, Gaz, as well, is purely, listen, I could be at Salon International on stage with 700 people watching on stage. And she's at the side of the stage, Simon, I want you. And I'm like, Nergish, what do you want? Yeah, okay. She's not bothered. She's direct. She gets straight to the point of where she wants to go. So, you know, it's refreshing, it's different, and I'm sure hopefully tonight we are going to really raise the awareness of the service staff. Nergish, we do a part of the show now, which I'm going to hand over to Gary, which is called Rant or Rave. Gary, over to you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, Nergish, I mean, just before we get on to Rant or Rave, can I just say as well, I mean, inspirational. I think what coming on to the show tonight shows is for all our young up-and-coming barbers and the barbers who've been in the job for a long time, is where your career can take you. Obviously, you've worked all over the world in such great companies, in such great surroundings. So, you know, never say never. The world is our oyster for everybody. And I think that's one lesson we can take from tonight, that, you know, the sky's the limit, which is fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. We have a little part of the show now, which is called Rant or Rave. And this will be right up your street, I'm sure. So all it is it's 2 minutes, or just 2 minutes, to rant or rave about a particular subject. So production, can you spin the wheel, please? It's a random subject that we don't know what it is. We're in the dark as much as you. So as soon as it comes up and it stops on our screens, we'll let you know. But if you can, just keep it nice and short. And your subject for tonight is privatisation.
Privatisation of the NHS? Because I'm not going to stop ranting.
Anything.
Oh my God. Okay, right.
You got 2 minutes
whatever
now.
you want.
I have to go straight to the NHS because, I mean, you know, it saved lives and it saved, you know, my family's lives. And I'm very, so no to privatization of our NHS. We have to protect it with our lives. Basically, it is having worked and lived in many countries like Hong Kong. If you weren't rich, you were allowed to die on a gurney. Having lived in North America, I tell you, you won't get treated if you don't If you don't have the money, it's a pay or die system. Please don't ever let anyone touch our NHS. Basically ask them to back the fuck off if they come anywhere near privatization. I'm so sorry.
I know, we like it.
2 minutes.
Well, listen, you said, I think Edward Emmons on these. We've had, who else has done them, guys? Mark Woolley did one in the last few weeks, but yeah, very passionate there about that subject there. So well done to our production team, who obviously done their own homework. We're going to finish off with some quick fire questions for you, Nergish.
Okay.
Just so the viewers at home can get a little profile on you. What's your favourite food?
It's chilies. I can't live without chilies.
And your favourite drink?
I guess let's go with cranberry and lime.
Your favourite destination? Where's the favourite place that you love to be?
Oh gosh, this is hard. I'll pick one. I'll say the city of London, where I live now.
I like London as well. Got to say, there's no place like London.
Yep.
Your favourite music?
Oh my, you've caught me. It's between classical Hindi music that I learn, which is old Bollywood music, and I sing it, and I'm a classically trained opera singer.
Wow.
So the two dichotomies, both completely separate.
And how she feels, Gaz. You know what I'm like on that karaoke, very classic.
Oh yeah.
And Nergish, who would be your ideal dinner date? Who would you like to have one dinner with? Just it could be somebody who's present in the past, anybody. Who would you like to have one night with where you have a dinner and you can talk everything through?
I know it's a cliche, but I'd have to say Mahatma Gandhi. There is just no other person that I would want to meet up with because, well, you know, for obvious reasons. There you are.
That's the first on our show. Tonight, guys, you've been entertained. We've got Joe Sloan coming up and Joey Power from Love to Create 88 coming right up after Gary's cocktail. We've been very treated tonight. Nergish has got a massive wealth of knowledge, as you can see with the interview. And I'm sure some of you watch this back, and people who's watching tomorrow morning and Sunday morning, sat in your offices, all these people who own salons and business people. You can get in touch with Nergish, look at the Twitter account on site, and get in touch with her about the PHAB Service Standard Awards. This is a fantastic thing to get involved, and will only help to raise our barbering industry. Nergish is having her favourite food, which is anything with chilies. She loves to have a chili in there. She's drinking a favourite drink, which is cranberry juice and lime. No alcohol since her 18th birthday, where it just don't mix with her. She's doing all this in the city centre of London, where it's her favourite destination. And she's listening to her favourite music, which is some classic Bollywood music. And she sings classically as well. And she's doing all this with the amazing Gandhi on her dinner date for one evening. Nergish Wadia-Austin, thank you for being part of Barber's Arms, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. God bless, and happy Easter, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming on, Nergish. See you later.
Lovely to meet. Woo!
There is a hurricane in a bottle.
Right, but when I did my team talk to you guys the day, and I did it to Joff the day, I don't come up for air neither. So when I get excited and passionate, this is different tonight because we're presenting and we're interviewing people. So it's like touch the blue touch paper and let them go. But if I'm ever like that, you've got to say to me sometimes, just calm down. You're gonna have a banger. But Gaz, can you feel the passion? You feel the warmth. You feel that she believes in what she does. So whatever she's going to tell you to do,
I mean,
she fucking believes in it. She'll move forward. And guys, if you're watching this tonight, you know, have a look at the PHAB Service Award stars and the PHAB standard. I was very privileged to get the 2010. The original was a big trophy as well, guys. Big metal chrome trophy with the initials all built in with your name on it and everything. 2010 is only 8 given out. And yeah, so very pleased. But great lady, great business person.
do you know what? If I had her as a boss, that is one boss you would never be able ever to say no to, wouldn't you? Whatever she asked you to do,
She won't let
you
you.
wouldn't able.
She won't let you. She just won't let you. She'll drag you forward.
I don't think I'm going to reply. I don't take rejection very well.
The thing is though, when you're working with people like that, and we've all worked with dynamic people, and you know, I've got to probably say, look, and I see a lot of myself in her as well, is you believe in what she's got to do, and you believe in her, and then you kind of follow her through them brick walls. And everybody in life loves strong leadership. I want people to inspire me. I want people. Sometimes I like fucking hate you, or I don't like you, or whatever. But when you speak, and that was a true story. That listen, I'm on stage. She don't give a bollocks. She'll walk through the audience. She's pushing hairdressers and barbers out of the way to get to the stand. Simon, can I speak to you 1 minute? And I'm like, I'm on stage. What the fuck can you not see? And then she's like, oh, I need to have a meeting with you next week. I'm like, okay, Nergish, thanks very much. I'll definitely phone you next week, but I'm on stage here. Fucking, there's 500 people watching us. But you do give her that time, and very formidable individual. Love what she's doing with the service stars. And as I say, if I were a barber out there or a hairdresser out there listening, I'd be looking at getting involved in that, because it's just another award that you can get. It's another standard to your business. And, you know, I think, you know, when we're looking around, I'm still a bit snobbish. I like looking at holidays now in the UK. You're looking at what quality of standard is in the hotels. 5 stars, you know, 4+ stars. You know, if we're obviously looking to do the UK holidays, and so I don't think it matters. I don't think people look around, especially when they're looking for new places to go. I think they look at, what have you got? Who are you? What's your business about? And if there's a standard, a service star behind it, I do think it does matter. So fair play to you, Nergish. Good luck. Cocktail time, baby.
Yeah, that's it. It's that time. So what we've got in today, it's Easter. So what we've got to do, we're having an Easter cocktail. Now, this one isn't for everybody, I'm sure, but it takes a little preparation as well. So, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, perhaps a couple of days before, make sure I've done all the hard work for you tonight. So, and barmaid has just chocolate rimmed my glass for me. So we're using a coupe glass. We're using an Easter egg cocktail. So what we're after is we just melted some chocolate. We've rimmed the actual glass with chocolate. So we're going to put that aside. Today, we've got quite a few ingredients. So unfortunately, I couldn't get some vanilla vodka. So what I've done is I've put actually some vanilla pods in a bottle of vodka earlier on in the week, shake it up all the time, and it's turned my vodka into vanilla vodka. So when we're actually using this, we've got our usual shaker, got our ice. So we're going to put that in as well. Got it in my flask as usual. Put that in there. So we've got ice going in. Vodka, we've got our jigger. So when we're using the jigger, that's obviously 2, so 50 ml. That's 25 ml. So we're using the single measure. We're using a double measure of vodka, and this is vanilla vodka. So we're putting that straight in. Today, and you know, it depends on what you've got, but I've used all the same ingredients today that I would have followed the recipe to the hilt. But you can get a few different bits. If you haven't got the liquor 43 that we're going to use tonight, liquor 43 is, as it says on the bottle, it's got 43 different ingredients. It's actually vanilla based as well. Absolutely beautiful. What we're going to do is we're going to use a clean jigger. So we're using the other side. We're using 15 ml. So half a measure in there. That goes in. We're using our old favorite. We've used this before. This is white cacao. This is a chocolate liqueur. So we're just putting that in. That goes straight in. 15 ml of that. And can you believe we're using our old faithful Advocaat? Warnings, it's synonymous with Christmas, if you like. You know, when as you were kids, that was the only thing you could drink in the back of the bar, back of your mum's cupboard. It was alcoholic, but you just knew it wasn't going to taste nasty. So that goes in. So we've got our 4 main ingredients, and then we've got to finish off and to give it that cream egg kind of finish, we've got some single cream, and we're using 15 ml of that as well. So we're throwing that in. All the rest, using our shaker, putting up the top on it, and then we're taking it up. So we're straining this. It's already got the strainer on the top. So as you can see when it goes in, look at that. That looks like a cream egg. So
In what?
Just this, just keeping a little bit of the chocolate out. So what we're going to do is just flake some chocolate on the top, all your favorite bits, and you can garnish it with everybody's favorite, a cream egg as well that can float on the top. So you can put that in. I'm going to leave that till later. It doesn't quite go with Nuki Brown, but I'm going to take one for the team and take this for you. So happy Easter, everybody. Your Easter Meg cocktail for the week. Enjoy, everybody.
Happy Easter, bud. Happy Easter, everybody. And there's no danger he would do it in one. Very,
Beautiful.
very good. Bang on time as well. We are really on time, up in that you're all on time as well. Enjoying tonight's show. We just had Nergish Wadia-Austin on from the PHAB Star Standard Service Awards. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the new BarberEVO news desk as well. That's going to be coming every week as well on Barber's Arms coming up. Really looking forward to lots of events that's now being booked in as well. Can't wait for the PHAB Awards, guys. That's on the 5th of September up in Scotland at the Glasgow Hilton Hotel. I'm sure if you have a look at the BarberEVO and Salon Envy, that, you know, that's just for me, guys. It's one of the best awards. I'm so fortunate as well to be asked again to compare it. And we've not really spoke about it, but I hope you're going to come up this year. But it's one of the best awards ever. The atmosphere in Glasgow that night has always been electric. I can't wait for, you know, just to get up there. I don't know what it's going to be like this year, obviously, restrictions, and, you know, we have to do the right. This is why it's really important that everybody gets back and does the right thing. I said to you yesterday when I spoke to you on the telephone, you know, we'd had emails from Wahl saying, look, it's Easter weekend, but some infection rates have gone up in our areas. Just do the right thing over the Easter weekend. You know, it's not just about what we do inside at Wahl, it's what we're doing outside of the community, the responsibility that we have as employees of the big brand that we work for to do the right thing in and around your family areas and stuff like that. So I ain't got any plans over Easter. You know, I want to keep everything nice and safe. And I want us to get back to some normality at some point. And I do believe 30 million people now, over 30 million people have had their first vaccination, over 12 million people have had the second vaccination. We're well in front of everybody else in Europe. So, you know, the light is there, guys. Scotland, you're back on 5th of April, and the UK, hopefully, when we get the news next week, the green light has been given, and you're all back on the 12th. So it's really exciting times, Gary. I bet you're excited as well with your salons, aren't you?
Well, I'm excited, but I need to make some money as well. We've had 7.5 months off. I mean, the bank balance has absolutely been raped. So, you know, it's not getting a matter of, you know, we want to get back. We need to get back, you know. So many barbers coming out of the industry, you know, and it's horrible to see. So, you know, I'll reiterate what you've just said. We've got to do the right thing. I mean, Easter for us has always been a family time. It's always, you know, we've always been very busy at work. It isn't time I've gone away, because even with, you know, the kids off school, I mean, Millie leaves this year, so all of my kids are older now. So hopefully we're not tied to school holidays. But I think the main thing is it's very hard when everybody's off, the weather's good, you know, not to think, hey, you know, we can get out here and do a bit. We can get out in the garden. We could have 6 up. It's been really good that the weather's started to pick up as well. So got into it, started doing a few jobs, just dusting down. I mean, we've done everything that we need to do. we just got to get in there and clean. You know, we've been shut. We got 3 months worth of dust in there now. It flies in the window, and we've been going in and cleaning, keeping the windows, the outside of the shop looking pristine. But you know, you've got to get back and restock now, get your tools back. So it's just those little jobs now. We're having, you know, our guys in separately, just getting all the tools up to spec. We've used the Wahl service exchange, scissors sharpened. All our clippers have been sorted out now. You know, we've bought a load of new gear off yourselves. So it's just getting back and in the swing, and you know, get all our guys making good money. You know, they've all suffered, so we just need to get back there and earn some money now. So, you know, and hopefully when we have the guys on now, Joe and Joey, see how they've coped through it all. See, you know, how they've gone on, how they're going to get back and started. It makes a huge difference on your attitude to getting back to work. You know, I've gone past some shops and they've still got Christmas decorations in the window. It's just not right. It doesn't send the right message, does it?
I think I drove through Matlock about 2-3 weeks ago, and I noticed the same. Some like little boutique craft shops and stuff have still got their Christmas trimmings on it. It's kind of sad, really. I remember a story my grandmother told me about my dad when he was younger. He had something like a scarlet fever, something like that, and he got it, and he was in hospital all over Christmas. He didn't come out of hospital till probably February, March, and she kept all the Christmas trimmings up, and it just reminded me of little things like that, you know, we've never had this, and I say it on them team talks, we've never gone through this in his lifetime. You know, this is lockdown free, and surely now we're all at that point. And I look back at some of those early episodes. When we come to our anniversary, you're going to see the first episode. I think I made a bollocks by saying, I think we're going to be about 6 or 8 weeks here where we're going to be locked down. We didn't know, obviously, and now I think we're all a little bit more aware of the severity of what's just happened globally. And, you know, you've seen this week as well. I had a message off Louis Farrow, one of our past guests there, our lead educator in Canada. Canada got locked down again this week for 28 days. So whilst we're going back on the 5th for Scotland and we're going back on the 12th again, we've got to be very vigilant and still do the right things, because I think the country will be effectively in some kind of tier system moving forward, and the last thing that anybody wants is any areas being locked down again. So keep doing the right thing, guys. I know some restrictions are being moved around.
Do you know what though? I can't keep track. I honestly can't keep track, and it wears you out. Keeping track of where's working, where's not working, where's being locked down, and you know, you really feel for these places. But at the same time, we've gone through it ourselves, and it's trying to second guess everything as a business owner. The worry behind it all, it's just trying to second guess everything all the time, and it does physically and emotionally wear you out. It does. It's hard. It's hard.
But we're going to get back. We're going to be nice and positive. Talking of positivity, we've got our next two guests that are joining us in Barber'S, and these two guys, I've watched their careers over the last maybe 5 or 6 years, bursting onto the scenes with the men's fair, and then through Barber, and then starting their own business, which is Love to Create 88 down in Essex. But here we have on Barber's for the first time, guys. Nice to see you both. We have Joey Power and Joe Sloan joining us at Barber's. Welcome, guys, to Barber's.
Thank you very much, Simon. Nice to be here. You all right, Gary?
Fantastic, mate. It's great to have you on the show. Lovely to see fellow barbers on the show as well. In the shop, I see as well. Is that your bar in the shop, or is that a backdrop?
No, this is our bar. I had a chat with Simon earlier, and I asked if we could use our own as a third to the backdrop.
Well, it looks very
fantastic,
well equipped. And, Gary, the guys invited me down to their opening, I think a couple of years ago now. For some reason, I just couldn't make it, but you're definitely on my radar now with me not going traveling anywhere. When we get open up on the 12th, I'm going to try to get around as many barber shops and let my restrictions lift me up. And you're definitely on my radar, because that bar looks right up my street. Look like we have some nice liqueurs in there, some nice coffee mixers in there. So I'll definitely be coming down to Rayleigh and be having a few coffees. And I'll probably do it later in the day, Joe, so I can stay over few beers with you guys as well in a beer garden somewhere where it's nice and safe. Guys, you've seen Barber's Arms. You know what's going to come up. We're going to ask you some questions about your careers, about the business, about the brand. And then we'll finish off with some quick fire questions as well towards the end. Gary, your first question anyway, you've got a question about their name and things, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know Dad. Obviously, I've worked with Adam on different projects and with different areas. He's on the council and different stuff. I understand that the shop that you're in now, obviously, the name is very different. For one, what's the idea behind the name of the shop? Is there any significance? And two, did it used to be a big yin as well? Have you broke away from that brand? Is this something you're doing together that you purposely wanted, something you wanted to do for a long time?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was nudging Joe to answer it, and then you threw in what it used to be, so it come back to me to answer this question. We opened, it used to be called Biggie and Gents Division, 12, 13 years ago now?
Your shop?
Yeah, I was 20 at the time when we opened it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 13 years, I'm 26 now, so not that long ago. And so about 3 years ago, Joe and I were working together under the umbrella of the Young Feds artistic team, which Adam has with the Men's Hairdressing Federation. And Joe, you were kind of one of the last ones to come along, weren't you, before we kind of stopped doing all that for him.
What was that, 2016?
It was when you're first born.
Yeah, 2016, 2017.
Yeah. Anyway, and we just hit it off, really. You know, I wasn't really too interested back then. We worked with some incredible guys for a number of reasons. I weren't really interested in the sort of public side of doing the hair shows and how would you say it, the sort of fame almost that could come with it amongst your peers and whatever. And Joey was like-minded with that. You know, he was very career-driven, skill set-driven. And when he turned up, he was there for him and for the brand as opposed to, I don't know, feeding his own ego. It wasn't really about that. So we kind of just hit it off straight away. And then I had a business partner at the time here who, how do I say? I was busy traveling around and he wasn't. Neither of us were any good at business at the time. And I met Joey. Joey at the time was working for Barber. And I became very close with a mentor of mine, which is Joey's dad. He's an incredible businessman. So I had kind of my dad on one side that taught me everything about hairdressing and barbering. And then I'd met John and I was understanding more about business. And an opportunity came up where we was going to rebrand the shop, buy my old business partner out, and Joey and me started this, and 88 Love to Create was born.
I love the name. I love the name. Me and Gaz were talking earlier just before we came on air, and I've never asked you because we won't ask you tonight, but I always look at when sometimes there's a number in the name. When my favourite number is 17, and I've got a mass history with the number 17. When my son signed with Man United, it was the junction that we came off to go to Manchester, Man United. We came off at junction 17. The number 17 then became synonymous with lots of things that he just popped up. 17 popped up. 88, is it something that came in and around? Is it the number of the building, or is it just something that rhymed? Or
so what it is, right? We're open Monday to Friday, 8 till 8. So a lot of people think it's our opening hours, or it's the number on the high street that we are. But I'm 3 days older than Joe. He's the 19th of Feb. I'm the 16th of Feb, and we're both born in 1988. So that's where the name.
I love it. That's a story, though. I like it.
And it was just something that it didn't speak barbering. Do you know what I mean? It was 88 Love to Create, and it's a brand affiliation name. So it isn't just hair. If we want to divert into other areas, do you know what I mean? We can continue and carry the name through. So what would be
Gary, I know Adam really well, and we speak quite a lot, especially over lockdown. We've really connected quite a lot, and I know Adam's watching tonight. So, hi, big fella, how you doing? Joey, I met your dad though, and I came off stage at Barber Connect, and he paid me some really nice compliments about my presentation. You know what I'm like on stage, I have a laugh and things. He paid me some compliments, and he said I reminded him of some comedian that he grew up with or he knew. But I remember your dad, grey-haired guy, big guy, charismatic character. But send him all my best as well. I hope he's watching tonight, or I hope he watches it back.
I'm sure he is, man, and he's regards right back at you.
Yeah. Guys, moving on to some questions. So we're going to have some questions, and we'll start off with you, Joey, and then we'll come on to you, Joe. So it's the same question to both of you. But Joey, who inspired you to where you're now with 88 and working with the feds, working on some of the stages? And you've rightly said, Joe, as well. And Joe, I've spoke to you, mate, quite a lot. And I paid you some real good compliments last week when I spoke to you. I've been watching a lot of the stuff. You've changed so much over the last 3 years. You've got this sorted out with that. Once you get that connected with that, you'll believe in exactly what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Joey, and then on to you, Joe. Joey, who inspired you growing up in this industry? When first of all, when you started working on stage, who did you look to think, wow, I want to be like this guy or this girl? And then later in coming into the 88 business, so who's been the key members in who's been the key inspirations in your careers?
So it's quite a tough question, because you said growing up. Listen, I've only been a barber for 7 years and I'm 33 years old. So I got into this late. I grew up in a scrap metal yard. So when I got into barbering, like I said, I was 25. I suppose the first person that changed my perception of just a high street barbershop was Ted Watkins. And I worked very, very closely for the first 3-4 years of my career with Dal. He was a great mentor of mine and taught me a lot and introduced me to a lot of really incredible people in the industry. But I suppose my inspiration has always been my old man. It has. And it's like, he's a very, very shrewd businessman. He's a very hard character. He's taught me loads and loads of great quality life lessons. Do you know what I mean? Good qualities to have and all things like that. So he's always been my biggest inspiration, which leads me into my business. Do you know what I mean? Because that's where I gain a lot of my knowledge from and my drive and all of that stuff. But yeah, Ted Watkins was my inspiration into men's hair. My old man's been my inspiration just throughout my whole life. But there was when I first got into barbering, I was at I think it was Salon International, and I see these guys on stage, and I was only barbering for about a year, if that, maybe 18 months. And I'd always set myself high ambitions and good goals in my newfound career. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to cut hair on stage, and I always looked up to the feds. And then fast forward another 18 months, I'm on stage with them.
Nice, good answers. And Joe, same question to you, Joe.
My inspirations. Again, really tricky question. I guess for everyone who knows or doesn't know, my dad is Adam Sloan. He's got the Men's Hairdressing Federation. My dad's been like a hairdresser, barber for like 40 odd years. You know, he's won numerous awards himself, which you'll never hear him talk about, because he's now like men's hairdressing and wants to, you know, he's a bit of a hippie, you know, he wants to leave everything a better place than he found it. You know, he's an amazing man. So I guess I grew up around it. My granddad was a barber, you know, my dad was a barber hairdresser. I grew up around it. So I guess I was possibly inspired into, my dad was always happy. You know, as a kid, you know, my dad was one of them. He'd be singing as he got up in the morning and playing pranks straight. You know what my dad's like, you know, so I guess that happiness in the work life, you know, I saw that from a young man or from a child. So I guess that side of it, like skill set, and he taught me how to cut hair and of course, all the other things you learn growing up, which we probably won't discuss right now. So yeah, that was great. And of course, and then I mean, before Joey and me had a beautiful relationship.
It's your hand off my leg.
Sorry. So yeah, before Joey and me had our beautiful relationship, you know, I had an amazing relationship with Joe's dad. And he saw something in me. I mean, it's beautiful what you said, Simon, saying, you know, how much I've changed and I'm a different person to what I was sort of 3, 4 or 5 years ago. And that certainly was, what's the right word I'm looking for? Encouraged when someone saw something in me. I guess other close people to me did see, but you know, it's like I couldn't see the wood for the trees. I was too busy. My head was in other stuff and whatever. And it was Joey's dad, you know. So I guess having my dad and John about me, I think they're my two massive inspirations for me. And of course, now I have Joey here, you know, we bounce back off each other. You know, we're the complete opposites. So I think whatever I lack, he has, and vice versa. So I think we get a lot of inspiration. And of course, from our staff and our team and everything, you know, we live this. Like, we're in here, like, you know, like you were talking about lockdown, what have we been doing? I heard you saying earlier, we was tuning in and you was asking, and, you know, I've been here other than Christmas, and I'm not just saying this to say this, but other than Christmas and my birthday, which was, like Joey said, 3 days after him, I've been here every day, you know, obviously not cutting hair, but finding lots of things to keep me busy and active. And he's probably done me wonders at home as well, because my other half, I love her dearly, my Sarah, but she's probably grateful I've been out of the house as well.
Do you know what? I think that resonates with loads and loads of people, but fair play to you as well for admitting, you know, how you've grown as well. I think that's refreshing for people. And we seem to get a lot of truthful, great, grounded answers out of people. And it's really great how they open up on the show. Things I was going to ask, I mean, I was going to go on to that and say, how's COVID obviously affected you as people? But obviously, you know, you've kept yourself busy and you're looking good. So I'm going to go on to how, from a business point of view, and your team, you know, we've got a really large team, so, you know your dad really well, and I'm sure he's the same. But have you kept your team interested? How have you interacted with your team? We're talking about team meetings and stuff like that. How many staff have you got, and how do you interact with them through COVID? How you kept looking after them? But also, how's it going to affect you going back? You know, when you're going back to work, is there anything you're going to really, really change that you didn't do before?
So that's a really great question, actually. So after the first lockdown in June, when we come back, all of our staff were self-employed. So obviously they get the self-employed government grants and stuff like that. But what we've done for the first month when we locked down in March, I think it was the end of March, but we gave them a month's salary out of our pockets just to sort of see them through. And when we come back in June, we employed everyone just in case it happened again, and we'll be able to furlough them. So that's obviously what's happened. So our staff have been sweet. They've all still been getting their monthly pay and stuff like that, which is really, really good. It's helped them out massively. But we've had lots of fun nights on Zoom. Do you know what I mean? We've had a couple of Zoom takeaways. We've checked in with everyone sort of every other day. So yeah, the morale coming back is good. We've actually grown as well. We've got 2 new members of staff coming on board. And I think we've got a few interviews lined up this week.
Yeah, we've got 3 more interviews.
We're coming back stronger than we left, which is great. But yeah, enthusiasm and energy levels are high. We just need to be earning some money again. Do you know what I mean? And doing a job that we love. It's been a real strange thing, because I heard you saying earlier, this is a first. Do you know what I mean? So people don't know how to deal with it, really. And it's something that's completely out of our control. And it's one of them things that you just have to accept and prepare yourself for when you come back, that you come back stronger.
Go on, guys. You go. Well, I was just going to say, from a personal point, all our staff have always been, you know, cards in. They've always been employed anyway. That's how we run our business. But I think, you know, it's made people think about the business plan. I think it's made them, you know, think about how they run the business now. I think it's changed a lot of people's attitudes towards business, whether they want to be self-employed or not as well. But at the same time, you've got to think about the employers as well. You guys are employers now. You're responsible for the people, aren't you? You know what I mean? And that makes a massive difference on how you act yourselves and how you progress as a company. But also, you know, when you've got people that rely on you, it grounds you a little bit, doesn't it? You know, it's a little bit of weight on your shoulders, but also you want to do the best for them. And I think you were forward thinking. You were great for your staff. But I think I think how we're all working, I don't know if you were appointment only before, you know, things have been forced upon us as business owners. But I think it's changed how everybody thinks about it as well, you know, whether good or bad as well. You know, it's fair play to you. I think you made a great job of it as well.
I think for these 2 guys as well, they're both still in the 30s, even though they don't look it, but they are still in the 30s.
What, older? Older,
No,
or
I'm
you?
definitely mid-20s.
Yeah, definitely, Joey. But I think, I love the you employed your staff afterwards, not because it was a decision to benefit you guys. It was a decision to protect your team and to protect their wells. And I think those stories are very commendable. And, this is why Barbers Arms has been so successful, that we get honest people on. And if anybody barbers are watching out there as well, coming into the 5th for Scotland and 12th for UK and Ireland up for by the end of April, if you've not done steps like that, looking at them, we could be back in a tier system. Maybe an idea that your tech of 88 guys here is to look at getting your staff employed. Because the one thing that I think we've learned, and you'll have all heard this, is the guys that have been self-employed have done it fantastic. They've rented chairs and they've done really, really well, and they've earned loads of money. But not necessarily they have had the right advice when it's come to taxes and paying so they have got exactly what they've deserved, and they've struggled. And so I think doing this will help everybody in the long run. This has been a big check to everybody, on everybody's side to say, look, I think sometimes you've got to be employed to get the right things going forward. So I commend you both for doing that. The guys' Instagram accounts and all their social media details are coming up on your screen. We've got lots of questions as well coming up. You can go onto the Barbers Arms Facebook and ask any questions that's coming in for Joey and Joe on 88, what we're speaking to them about tonight. You can also look at mine and Gaz's Instagram accounts, which are coming up on your screen, which is Simon Shaw Wahl. Gaz is the British Barber, Barbers_Arms. If you want to email us as well, it's thebarbersarms.co.uk. We've got our big expo show coming up in June as well, which is going to be a massive one. I think we've already got over 2,000 people registered for this, guys. And guys, we've got some amazing stands coming up. It's going to be a boutique kind of exhibition. Can't wait to tell you as well. I've been told tonight, I can't mention, but some of the stands that's going to be there, retailing and also showing off education virtually. It's going to be the best thing that you can get before we can get back to some normality and hopefully get into October where we can do some live shows. But this is going to be the next best thing coming up in June. Question again to both of you. We'll start with you, Joe. Joe, Sloan first. Joe, I know you both started, well, I don't know about you, Joe, but Joey, you said you started in your 7 years ago in your late 20s or early 20s, or you coming into barbering. But if you would have done this, Joe, first of all, what would you have done if you weren't doing this, barbering, hairdressing? What would you have liked to have done, or what do you think you'd have fallen into? Where would you have gone?
Listen, it's another good question. Listen, I can't answer that. Like, this is one of them careers you can't do unless you love. You know that. Do you know what I mean? So I can't even envision myself doing anything else. I think now, if you're asking me as a young man like that question, that's the answer I give you. If you're asking me now, I have more experience in business. It's a numbers game. I think it'd be something. I mean, Joe and me are always bouncing our heads back and then getting pulled back in line. Business ideas that we have. But I think no. Listen, I can't really answer that. Sorry, Simon, I can't answer that. It'd be this through and through because I don't know anything else.
You've answered it. You've answered it. That's so. Joey, you started off in the scrap game. You got into barbering, but is there any other kind of career that you were? I'll give you an example. Going through school, I was a good footballer. I didn't make it. Well, I had lots of therapy to say. I used to say I had injuries. I just weren't quick enough. I had the heart. I was a great captain or skillful, but I had fucking abundance of bottle. I would have tackled your bar behind you. I would have thrown myself into it and no fear. I live my career now through my son, who's got. I wish he had a little bit more of that than I had, but technically he's fantastic, and fitness-wise, he's just in a different league to me. So I would have always wanted to go into football or football management, and then if I could say, Gary, I would want to be an actor. I'd love to see myself on Coronation Street every week, and I think I'd do a good job of it. But Joey, what would you have done if you weren't doing scrap and you weren't doing this barbering thing? Is there anything else that you'd have liked to have gone into?
Yeah, there was, and it led me to barbering. Funny you ask. It was either music or fashion, either one of them two. And when I left the scrap business at 25, I didn't know where I would fit in the music industry, and I didn't know where I'd fit in the fashion industry. But hair can transfer over to either. Do you know what I mean? It's like Joe's done music festivals, I've done fashion weeks. Do you know what I mean? And it was just, that's where I found my passion for hair, through either music or fashion. So if I weren't cutting hair, I'd find something to do in either one of them two industries.
Do you know what? It's funny that you say that. It's still creative though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're both in a creative sense of what you do, and making people feel good is what we all do. Just getting back off the shop system now. So you both mentioned earlier that you met through young feds. Just from our point of view, you know, I know nothing's happening at the moment. None of us are working abroad or doing shows or anything like that. What's happening with the feds? You know, is it still going? Are you still part of that? Are you still into education? I know you're obviously into education with your barbershop. Yeah. And do you still train? What's your education side of things? That are you still part of? That's what I want to get at, really. And do you train all your own staff? Do you take apprentices on? I know there's a lot in there, but yeah, you know, okay, both of you can actually get into that. But obviously, you both met through education and through educating and trying to get that way. So where are you standing with that now at the moment?
So Joe and I actively don't have anything to do with, like, we don't work, should I say, with the Men's Hairdressing Federation currently. However, we're certainly very, very close to Adam, and I'd say kind of advisory members behind the scenes there. Adam's still pushing the Men's Hairdressing Federation massively. He's just launched the Hair Fed as well. So he's now doing online education for both hairdressing and men's hairdressing barbering. So as I say, I was an assessor myself. I was a City Guild assessor. So I did used to do that. Listen, Gary, nowadays, my interest is I can't take my foot off the gas here. You know, it's paramount that I'm here and our heads are fully in this business. So to answer that with the Men's Hairdressing Federation, there's still an amazing relationship there, of course, and I wish them all the best. And yeah, we're not at the forefront of it nowadays, but however, yes, we still fully support that. Regarding in salon training, I'll let kind of Joey take over from there.
Yeah, so we do take on apprenticeships. It's great because the academy, the MH Fed Academy, is just upstairs to us. So we've got hands-on education all the time. And you've got an intern as well, haven't you, that you've just done one-to-one with?
Yes, through the MH Fed, yeah. So like Joey said, we take on apprentices, we take on like your, I don't know what they're called, your interns. They're like, it's not an MVQ, but it's like an introductory to barbering. However, it's really hard to find people, you know, when they're that age, because, you know, listen, it's really difficult. I'll be honest with you, this place, right, is a really difficult place to work unless you really, really want to be successful. And that's not just earning money, that's skill set, you know, your own personal development, like just progressive behavior at all times. So I guess we kind of, our expectations are up here. And the great thing is the guys we do attract and we do keep, you know, we're building a phenomenal team here, which, you know, is overwhelming every time we actually sit and collectively talk with the team. And Joey and I and John and Tom as well, another one of our managers here. For us, it's all about collecting data. You know, it's like, for us, it's our booking system. It's understanding that, and it filters down into our staff. So we'll be looking at, you know, how many hours they're working a week, what services they're doing, how much them services are, what's profitable, where the margins are, you know, and then we can give that data back to our staff and go, this is what you need to do to hit this much money. Then you're in bonus territory, and all about retaining clients and understand it's a numbers game, you know, and we really, really enjoy it. And we filter that down into our staff.
So yeah, that's great. I think it's really good, Gary. I think you've both come across really good on the interview. I think you've got your heads, like Joe, like I've been speaking to you, you've reiterated the things that I've said, the growing up that's happened, you know, from bursting onto the scene with the men's fed, and Joey watching you coming through with Johnny and Barbara, and then bursting on. Few questions coming in here. I don't know if this is a real one. Do you have the same tailor, both of you, as Willy Wonka? Because your fucking suits are that bright. So obviously you need to look at your fashion image, both of you. Pink suits, blue suits, fuck's sake. Get yourself sorted out. What's wrong with black and white? Take a leaf out of my book. It's never done me any harm. I've been at the top for fucking 30 years and I'm still there, babies. Guys.
You know what, Joey, though? And this is really serious. I know Dale very well. I love the guy today. And do you know, before you even said he mentored you, I just thought, fuck me, he's Dale Ted Watkins.
Who mentored Gaz then? If you said that to you, Joey, who would you say is mentored Gaz? Looking at his style.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. It's a KFC man at Roger's Barbers. There you go. You can't give it Gaz without taking a little bit. Who's mentored me? It's George Michael on steroids. Moving on to the part of the show, which is we're going to do some quick fire questions to both of you. We changed it around a little bit. So, Joey, I'm going to give you an hairdressing quick fire question. And Joe, you're going to get the original Barber's Arms profile questions to work on you both. And let's, for all our viewers out there. So, Joey, we're going to come to you first. Joey, what's your favourite haircut?
A DA.
A DA. I like a DA. Fucking years since I've had one, but still one on my back. But that's about it. What's your favourite air show that you attend?
Salon International.
Jane's gonna love this and Mark Maloney because every week when we ask that, that's the top one. So fair play to him. Joey, what's your favourite music?
Garage.
I'll explain that to you one after, Gaz. Who would you most like to, just you at Salon International, so I'm building a profile, who would you most like to work with on stage? Besides me.
Kevin Lutchman.
Second time Kevin making an appearance on that. That's nice. And what would all of the above, because I want to build a profile there, all of the above, which country would you like to do all that? Let's just say you could take Salon International somewhere. Which country would you like to do all the above with?
Australia.
Australia, okay. We're going to come back to you in a second, Joey Power. Joe Sloan, what's your favourite food?
Turkish.
In fact, you could look like an extra actually on Snatch, to be fair to you.
I've heard that a few times, yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely fitting that. We'd call me a different name for Turkish, but you're definitely fitting. What's your favourite drink, Joe?
Evian.
Heavian.
Evian, water.
Easy. Music, what's your favourite music?
I'm the same as Joe, I'm a garage boy.
Again, guys, I'll talk you through garage later. What's your favourite destination?
Bailey.
Rayleigh, yeah. Yeah, I'm here every day. I don't know, Glasgow. Love Glasgow.
Remember that night when we'd been to that award and I had to walk up with David Walker and he'd had like 7 bottles of red wine and that were a long walk from the casino back to the hotel and I left him with you and your dad and I sneaked up in the lift and went to bed, but I think you had him for about 3 hours. Yeah, fair play to you. And Joe, if you could have one ideal dinner date for one night, just to have a beer with or a meal with and either past, present, alive or dead, who would that be?
My granddad, my dad's dad.
Nice.
Grandad Sloan.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We've got Joey Power and Joe Sloan from 88 Love to Create down in Raleigh. Great to have you on Barber's Arms, and we're building the profiles here. First of all, we've got Joey Power, who came from this industry, from the scrap metal merchants, but now making a massive name for himself down in Essex. His favourite haircut, if he was on stage, would be a DA. He would be doing all this at Salon International. We'd be moving Salon International to Australia. He'd be doing all this with Kevin Lunchman. And he'd be listening to some garage music while he's on stage with a lunch in Australia. And then at the side of him, having a nice Turkish meal, drinking his favourite Evian drink, listening to the same garage music, and in his favourite destination, which would be either in Raleigh, which is where he's from. And he'd be doing all this with his granddad Sloan. Joe Sloan, Joey Power, you've been on Barber's Arms. You're 2 stars. Keep good work up, guys. We wish you all the best for the 12th.
Yes.
And I'll be definitely down to see you both in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Love you both.
Perfect.
God bless.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Happy Easter to you both.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much, fellas, and we'll be down. We'll try and get down to you, and we'll do a Barber's Arms live from you guys if you've got a bar like that. So we'll definitely see you in the future. Well, another great couple of guys.
You know, you said to me when we were speaking yesterday, you said to me about in the early Barber's Arms, we'd drink a lot more. I forgot the last time we did a shot. I forgot the last time we did a mixer. I forgot the last time you did your cocktail, but the show gets so packed. It's now 21:35, and it doesn't seem 2 seconds since we started the pre-production meeting at 7:30. So the 2.5 hours that we have just seem to fly by real quick. And testament to our guests on Nergish Wadia-Austin tonight from the PHAB Service Star. Great guest tonight on there. Thanks to David and Andrew from BarberEVO from the news desk. Super addition to the show. We're looking really forward to what you guys can fetch every week. And the guys from 88 Love to Create down in Raleigh, Joey Power and Joe Sloan. I'm sure Adam and John, their parents, will be looking on tonight very proud about what they've just seen tonight. Now, you 2 young men have really progressed the business. I love the part, Gary, of where they said that they employed the staff to look after them and to safeguard them for the furlough. That's putting a proper life belt on, and he's putting it's putting the life belt on, and it's putting the lifeguard ring around people. And I love that idea. I really did.
The thing is, though, as an employer, we've been in the job a long time. You know, you value your staff. It's hard to get great staff. Why would you risk losing them? You know, you've got to look after your staff. You've got to look after the people around you because they look after you at the same time. But, you know, to train somebody up to get to that level, you know, it's hard. And taking existing staff on that are already trained, they don't work to, you know, how you want them to work. And investing in staff is the best thing ever. So, you know, I think that's a great lesson to take from tonight, if nothing else. Just that one thing. I think you're right, you know. And then good employee. There is great employers out there. You know, there's some cowboys, you know, but they don't keep staff. Simple as that.
And it's funny as well how tonight that the 2 guests have complimented each other, like incidentally, like Nergish saying about the Service Star Awards. But what they've just done and what they've demonstrated is like Joe and Joey, if you're watching, and I know Adam or John's still watching, the boys need to get in touch with Nergish because they're right up for these service standard, you know, PHAB standard service stars, because what they're doing, what they're demonstrating, their services, their training, that's what it's all about. You know, it's worked hand in hand, really.
Yeah, you know, and I think I don't, you know, I'll admit I don't know Joey at all, really. I think I've seen him knocking about a little bit at shows and different things, but I've never had a conversation or a relationship with him. But Joe, you know, I think you hit it on the head. You know, how grown up, he's like a different lad, isn't he? You know, the kind of the guy who burst onto the scene. And I know we all take time to grow. I know that. It's just how you conduct yourself.
I'll do a Roy Keane
and everything.
Now. I'll do a Roy Keane now. Have you watched the interview when Mika Richards? It's been published so many times. When Mika Richards said, "When I burst onto the scene, everybody knows how cantankerous I am, and I don't let anybody get away with it." Like, did he really fucking burst onto the scene? when Roy said, "Did you really burst onto the scene?" As a right, I think he burst onto the scene with the men's fed as an industry as a whole. You know, that, you know, Adam will give you a bit of stick with that, but fair play to Joe. You know, growing up as well, when he used to come out, would be outside any exhibition, he'd come out with his little microphone off and stuff, and he'd come and talk to me and ask me questions and stuff, and fair play to him. You know, he did well, and he's a great talk, to be fair to lad. You know, he can talk a glass eye to sleep. He's definitely in the mould of comparing awards and stuff. So I'm really happy for them both. And I said to Joey in the week when I spoke to him a few times, so polite, so respectful, and he deserves everything now that him and his partner Joey are going to get. You know, they're going to do really well, and they're certainly a brand to watch, and so creative. I think they could even get bigger.
Do you know what though? It shows as well when people grow up, or you know, when you have your Instagram famous and everything else, and everybody wants to be on. It isn't all that it's cracked up to be sometimes, and you can't make money on it, you know, unless you're very, very good, top of the tree. You've got to look after your business, haven't you? And they've realised their business.
You can speak for yourself. I've made a career out of it.
Well, you know,
as the Spanish would say,
there's very few people like yourself that can actually make a living being on stage like that.
Coronation Street, here I come.
Yeah, you know,
as the Spanish would say, numero uno. Guys, coming up next week, there is no guests. Episode 49 is our 1 year anniversary. So next week, we're going to have live flashbacks. We're going to show some videos of people who send messages in to us throughout the last 12 months, wishing us all the best in our 12 months. Can you believe it? 12 months, guys. We're going to look back at some of the past episodes. We're going to take live questions as well for the first time. So we'll be looking off the screens and looking at the real live questions that's coming in for people that's going to join us on our 1 year anniversary. It's going to be a bit of a celebration. I've got a nice suit ready, guys, black tie ready for our anniversary next week. So I'm really looking forward to the next week's 49th episode, 1 year of Barber's Arms. Can you believe it?
Fantastic. And just to remind everybody, get your questions in. There's going to be live questions as well. We've got some live segments from people who've been on the previous show. We've got some recording. We've got a few guests, just little bits and bobs. We've got some embarrassing moments, I'm sure, if production have got anything to do with it. But from us, happy Easter, everybody. Absolutely love you all. Have a great weekend. Hopefully the weather will carry on tomorrow so we can have that last long weekend of sun and chilling before we get back into the race. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Pass you on to my very good friend, Simon Shaw.
Well, I'm not used to doing the second segment, but I'm going to leave you with this. The light is bright. It's here. Scotland, you're going to touch that light next week on the 5th. So I hope you all are ready. You're supercharged. You're going to do everything that you should do, and you're going to go and hit the ground running. And like Gary said, every salon owner and every barbershop owner are going to go in and take as much money as you can in the right way and in the positive way. You guys in the UK, it's the 12th. That's the big D-Day for you all. You're going to get back and go fucking smash it. We are the best industry in the world. This is it. What a fantastic careers you've got. You'll have all seen. Some of you have gone to do volunteer work. Some of you have gone to do post office work. Some of you have gone to do drivers, deliveries. Some of you have gone to do other stuff. Some we're never going to get back in this industry. We've lost some fantastic people as well, you know, through different parts of it. But the light is there. And for you guys that are left behind now, you've got to make sure this legacy continues. And we're going to really get forward and to make sure that you look after yourselves, look after your families, and really, you know, go smash it. Good luck to Scotland on next week on the 5th. We'll be all back next week on the 9th on Barber's Arms for our 49th episode and our 1 year anniversary. I wish you all a fantastic Easter. God bless you all. Be safe. And we'll see you all next week. God bless to everybody.